If you're a tech professional constantly solving problems, leading meetings, and running different projects, and you're feeling the burnout, overwhelm, and stress from day to day, you're not alone. And I've definitely been there before. My name is Coco. I am a cybersecurity professional. I've been working in the InfoSec and cybersecurity space for almost a decade now as a project manager, consultant, and technical engagement lead. And I know what it's like to work with high stakes projects with C-level executives, government sectors, all of the above. With that, I also deal with a lot of stress in my day-to-day, and I've learned how to manage that more effectively throughout the years. My ultimate goal for this channel is to help people in tech and corporate spaces reset, refocus, and reconnect with themselves so that way they can gain clarity without having to sacrifice their well-being and identity. So in today's episode, I'm sharing how I found my way into the tech industry, ultimately how I changed my mindset and took myself seriously, especially after hitting rock bottom, the mindset shift that it took to rebuild, not just as a professional, but as a human being. So if you're a high achiever that's tired of just surviving through stress and you're ready to align with something that's more aligned, more grounded, more you, then this video is for you. So since we're talking about stress and overload, I think it's right to start off with a breathing cue. So we're just gonna take a quick moment, close your eyes, inhale, hold, exhale, and one more time, inhale, and exhale. All right, open your eyes, and let's get started. So how I got into tech. So I always had an affinity for computers since a young age, MySpace days and all of that. I was trying to learn code like I think majority of millennials were. But I really started to take it more seriously after my time in the military. I did spend some time in InfoSec space while I was in the military, but I never really get to dive into like really big projects, especially in cybersecurity, until I got out of the military and more in the corporate space where I worked at a big four consulting firm. And then I landed in other company roles where I got to work on cybersecurity projects and really got to lead the mission and really got to make shit happen. It was really exciting. Definitely stood out amongst the crowd based on me being a female, me being a black female and all of that. But I actually found that to be one of my strengths and one of the things that really helped to elevate me, if you will, because not only was I somebody that didn't look like me in the industry, but I was willing to stand out. I was willing to jump in after I kind of, dealt with the nerves of everything. And then also like get involved with the projects more and more because it was really exciting for me. So while I was at a big four consulting firm, I worked as primarily an analyst. But then later on, I started to work bigger projects at other companies. And I was really excited about that because it got me in more client-facing roles. And although it was like high stress, high stakes, I was kind of used to that based on my military background. So I guess I have like a little bit of, I don't know, I guess I kind of like high stress environments sometimes. But ultimately, that was not the best for me and my body over time because it did start to wear and tear at me. I deal with a lot of stress and anxiety as is, and I found different ways to manage it, but I was running into really, really bad burnout while I was in the industry, and I'm still working in the industry, but I did have to take a pause for quite some time for that very reason, and I'm really glad I did. So people that take sabbaticals, it's definitely necessary. I definitely would advocate for people to take sabbaticals if necessary, especially if it's wearing and tearing on your body, if the industry as a whole is starting to get to you. No matter where you pivot to, it's just a lot. So take a break for yourself and you'll thank yourself a lot more later. So that's one of the things that kind of sparked the shift for me. And I realized that although I was dealing with a lot of this stress and everything, that this wasn't going to be my complete downfall and this wasn't going to be the end of my story. that I was willing to take this break and then see where it landed me from there. But I always knew that I still loved cybersecurity work, tech work, the industry as a whole. So I kind of stayed involved, but just more on the sidelines and kind of learning. I realized that I also really, really loved to tap into my spirituality and meditation practices and exercise. So I did a lot of strenuous exercise while I was in the military, but one of the things that I really, really loved is slower, more rooted exercises through yoga. And I'm super grateful because I recently, went through my yoga instructor course, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I really needed that. I wish I would have done it much earlier because it helped me find a way out of my own head and connecting back to my body. And taking that sabbatical, I don't think I would have ever found yoga for that reason if I didn't take that time off. So you're constantly running, going while you're in the tech realm because it's ever changing, ever growing, and you feel like you have to keep up with the technology, and it can become very stressful keeping up with the trends, keeping up with the news reports, keeping up with the technology, just everything, your skill sets, everything. It can become really, really overwhelming. And ultimately, you want to make sure that you're taking a step back from it all, looking at things from a macro perspective, and then also tuning back into self. Because if you're so honed in on so many different areas, your brain will literally feel like it's about to explode. So it's good to just take a moment to breathe and just relax yourself. And yoga really allowed me to do that. And I'm so grateful for it to this day. I think it saved my life. I mean, I'm not even going to go to like the medical issues that I was dealing with last year because it was really scary. But I really realized like if I keep going down this path, if I keep doing this, I'm probably going to die like at an early age or something. It's going to be bad. Like I've seen so many people around me become hospitalized and all these things that ended up being to their detriment because of stress, overwhelm, burnout, just not giving their bodies a break, not listening to their bodies. And that scared the hell out of me. And when I saw people around me going through that kind of suffering, I told myself that I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to fall down that same path because me seeing it was a mirror as to how I was treating myself and how I could have ultimately landed if I didn't slow down. So definitely taking time for yourself, no matter how exciting things could be, is essential, is key. Taking a moment to breathe, not being apologetic about it at all. Like being completely unapologetic about it is key because you're doing yourself and the people around you a favor if you're able to just hold off for a moment because technology is going to keep going anyway. You see what's going on with AI, you see what's going on in cybersecurity. There's constantly things going, but people will always be there to help cover. If you're not able to pour into your own cup, you can't pour into others and you're going to run on empty. And the next thing you know, your energy is depleted, you're tired all the time, you're over it, and then you're not able to give anything. And then you become useless essentially, and then you feel useless, and then it's just a domino effect of bad. So to help alleviate that, it's good to just take a moment and realize what's going on and stop yourself if possible before that burnout. Now, one of the techniques that I use is yoga, meditation. I also journal. There's so many ways to do that, and I'm not going to prescribe any way. I'm not a doctor, never claimed to be. And there's so many avenues that people can take to do so, but it all comes back to tapping back into your sense of self and what you need. And sometimes you don't always know what you need. For instance, I didn't know that yoga was going to be the main thing that pretty much saved my life, down the path that I was going on. So, and I was doing yoga already while I was in the military to help alleviate a lot of back tension and all this stress and stiff muscles and everything. But I didn't realize how much of a spiritual practice it could become and how much it really assisted me with just elevating in my own growth and tapping back into myself, tuning back into my intuition, and ultimately helping me to alleviate a lot of things. Now, I'm still not 100%. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now because I have to practice yoga every day, and if I skip a day, I feel it in my body. Like I feel something is off. So, there's so many different ways to do it too. There's chakra balancing, there's meditation, there's vinyasas, there's yin yoga. There's so many different forms of yoga and so many techniques within yoga that it's not just stretching and meditation that a lot of people kind of think it is. And this isn't just for me to talk about yoga the whole time. My whole point of this is to understand yourself better whenever stress, tension, overwhelm does occur and what your body may actually be asking you to do. Now, I hope that was helpful. I know that was kind of a ramble, but I wanted to introduce this channel and focus more on this niche for that very reason. I have a yoga channel as well that I'll pop in the link in the description if you guys are interested. I'm still getting started on all of that, so I have some flows on there to help you if you want to take a quick break and pop out your yoga mat and try a quick practice. But regardless if it's yoga or meditation, journaling, whatever it may be, let it be something that allows for your growth and tapping back into yourself. And I'm not going to say like consumption is the best way either, because that's a lot of a way that people tend to just escape from reality. For instance, gaming, watching television, doing those kind of things is more so distracting than anything. And although it's okay, it's relaxing for, a certain time period, you don't want that just to be your only go-to. I recommend walks, reading, focusing back on yourself and your mind and your body without the noise, if that makes sense. So I hope this was helpful, and if it was, I would love to hear some of the techniques that you guys try in the comment section, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Peace.